when should I start my horses on pasture as the spring comes? I've heard after the winter, the grass in the pastures gets too much sugar and fructan and are not healthy for horses to graze on. When is the best time to start letting horses out to graze?
That's a really useful question, because there are horses who are what I would call carbohydrate intolerant. In that there are some horses you can throw on pasture and they do fine, and then there's others that set foot in a pasture and they develop laminitis, which I think is their big worry, or colic or other things. So it a little bit depends on where you live, and so we don't know where she lives. So
we do not.
Okay, so we'll just answer this for everyone. But the main thing is to know when grasses accumulate sugar, because it's the sugar and the fructans that are the problem. So I forget what grade it was, like some middle school year, where you learned about photosynthesis.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the opposite would be respiration. So what happens is plants use sunlight and air and water to make sugars during the day, and then they use those sugars during the night to grow and reproduce and do other plant business. I'm not sure what all.
Ooh, plant business.
Plant
that feels
business.
like a good Pixar movie.
Plant business. So at the end of the day, at the end of sunlight, is when the grass is highest in sugar.
Okay.
It's made the most that it's going to make, so that it can use it.
And then it's going to do its business all
and
night.
then, and then at the end of the evening, when the sun starts again, is the lowest sugar level.
Okay.
So there's a website that I love. It's called safergrass.org. It's run by Katie Watts. She's not a veterinarian or nutritionist. She's some sort of agricultural scientist. They're actual plant scientists.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. And she says she recommends 3 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's
so just set your alarm
time.
for 2:30.
Her advice
seems
is,
convenient.
maybe SmartPak will do this, is someone needs to invent a gate opener on a timer that opens up at 3 a.m. and then herds them back in, I guess, and closes the gate at 10 a.m., whatever.
Well, 10 a.m. you could be out there by
you could
then.
be out there,
I
right.
mean, even on a Sunday, guys. 10 a.m. is not that bad.
Yeah, so, and of course the grazing muzzle is a good idea too, but
and so fashionable.
oh my
Newman
gosh,
loves
the
his.
look, you know, when you pad it up with things, you can use different colors. I recommend a neon yellow or green, so that if they get it off in the pasture, you can just find it. Yeah.
Do you know what I like imagining just now is when I was a kid, I was in middle school, probably learning about photosynthesis, and I had braces, and you'd get the rubber bands on your braces changed, and you'd do like pink and purple for Easter, and then you'd do like red and green for Christmas. You should change Newman's fleeces for the seasons.
Yeah.
You can have like green and orange for St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
You could do a lot.
Well, he does like his beer. So the other rule of thumb that I will give you is, after the spring transitions and the nights are consistently above 40 degrees Fahrenheit, then it's safer to be on grass. When you have warm days, intense sunlight, and cool evenings below 40 degrees, then the plants accumulate sugar during the day, but it's too cold to use it, so they continue to store it.
They don't
so
do
they just
plant
store
business
and
when
store.
it's cold.
No plant business is closed.
Okay.
So they store and store and store sugar, so that morning and the next day, it's loaded with sugar. So you want to wait until the evenings are consistently above 40 degrees. And then also the other rule of thumb, there's so many rules of thumb, that you
That's why you have a lot of thumbs.
introduce grazing gradually. So just because it's now warm days and warm nights, you don't just throw them out. You start with 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever.